So I'm about to finish a journal that I've had on the go for, well, since February 24th. And I'm about to start a new journal. So I'm going to use this Lystrom 1917 for my next journal. It's actually one of my favorites, that brand, the Lystrom 1917. And the one I have been using is a Midori that I've decorated over time. It started off fairly simple, but I've put a few stickers on it. And I think I have just part of a page left, and I'll finish it off tonight. It's an interesting book. It's an interesting journal. Makes for some pretty bleak reading. I started this journal the night Russia invaded the Ukraine, and February 24th. It's a bleak time on PEI. Weather is terrible. It's cold. It's wet. And reading through it, I'm not going to open it up. I'm not going to read from it, but there was some sad stuff that happened this year. There's what I usually do is I have like a table of contents, and if something important happens, I'll make note of it, and what page it is on my journal. And there were some sad things that happened this year. I lost a few friends that I've known for years, and some people I knew were sick or with COVID or other things, and just it was just a rough year on people. So it'll be kind of nice to put this book away for a while and start my next one. Somebody asked me to show all my. I had been talking about something, and they wanted to see what I used my fountain pens for, and mostly it's journaling, of course. That's one of the main things. This will be an interesting read in a few years. I'll look through it then, and go over some things that have happened. Otherwise, my family personally is great. We've done well, but it's there's been some losses this year, and they're in that book. And someday I'll come back to it. This is the other journal I had going on this year. It started in October 25th, 2021, and I finished it February 23rd. And like I say, my last journal, the one I'm just finishing, it started on the night of a terrible war breaking out, and it's still going on. Lots of people, both sides are dead, and it's quite a tragedy, really. But this is the next book I'm going to start, and I'll start that probably tomorrow morning, and hopefully overnight nothing major happens. Let's keep our fingers crossed. As I'm recording this, it's it's a beautiful day. It's summer on PEI. Everybody's busy. Lots of people visiting, lots of tourists around. Everything seems back to normal. Hopefully we can get through the summer without a seventh wave, as they say. But other things I use my fountain pens for, well, of course, journals. But I also carry, quite often in my pocket, little notebooks like these. They have notes in them that I have. This is a workbook I have. I'm a picture framer, so I often write down basic information about the job I'm doing, designs, the customer, contact information. It all goes in here. I have an address book on the go. Where is my address book? I don't know. So I have an address book that I use. I have another journal. It's leather. It has a leather cover. It's the Endless Works, and it has little notebooks inside. I forgot to bring it. It's in the other room, but I'm not going to go get it. And I use that for a lot of things like, meetings or Zoom calls and things like that, or different. If I was taking a course this year, and I was using it for notes and stuff like that, so it's always in use. If I go to a pen club meeting, I take that with me. So it's always around. It's a really nice book. You can just take the when the notebooks get filled, I can just pull them out and put a new one in the folder, and it works great. And as it gets more use, it gets a nice bit, a nice bit of wear and tear on it. It's quite attractive book. Um, yeah, so this is an address book. I've been just sort of updating all of my addresses because quite often I have I have an index box where I usually keep things, but often what happens is it just turns into a jumble, and I would rip somebody's address off a letter and stick it in the box, and I'd have to go rooting for it, or I'd throw a business card in the box, and a lot of the information was out of date. So I just decided to have an address book for people I write to or family and things like that. So that's kind of nice to have. And that was Paper Blanks, I believe, is the company that I got the address book. So it gets filled up. I'm not going to show you inside. You don't need to see that. Other things I use my fountain pens for is I often have these Rhodia notepads kicking around. I like the dot matrix, and we have a few of these knocking around the house, and they're great to have if you're doing a list of something or you got to make a note. Quite often I use them when I'm doing videos, testing pens, stuff like that. So these are always around, always in use. So that's what I use my fountain pens for. A lot of daily tasks. So my next book will be this Lystrom 1917. I did a video on this earlier, but this is the one I'll use, I think. And what I really like about these is there's a title, an area where you can put your name and address. Table of contents. I really like that. You can mark down the page number. That's the other thing I like about Lystrom is the pages are all numbered. So there's a nice, a good size table of contents. You can do that, or you can just, put things here if you wish. Often I also set some of these pages aside for correspondence, letters received, letters sent, things like that. So it's a dot matrix, all numbered. I like that a lot. And at the back is one of my favorite things, and it's a little accordion folder. And quite often these things get filled with, notes or stickers and things like that, or just interesting little, somebody might send me something that, it goes in here. It also has these really nice little bookmarks, these fabric bookmarks. And the other thing I really like about this is the elastic band. It's really handy. One thing I heard, and I thought it was a great idea, is the idea when you start a journal, sort of maybe put some prompts in it here and there. Just pick a random page and maybe put a quote or, something to cheer you up, or or some kind of goal. The other idea, I think it was, I'm going to say Adventure Denali. I think I'm pronouncing it right. She's a YouTuber, Alyssa Stout, I believe her name is. And she apparently does collages on certain pages. So when she's going through her journal, she'll find the page and there'll be a beautiful collage. I might do that too. I recently bought a sticker book, the Seashore Anthology. And I'm probably going to go and put a few stickers here and there. Just when I come to the page, it'll be kind of nice to have that happen. So, I'll just randomly say, find a spot, pick a sticker, stick it in there, fool around with it like that. I might do a little bit of artwork. I have some cards that I might collage in here, different things like that. See, so I'll do something like that. Fool around with it, have fun. Yeah, so that's what I'm going on about. It's interesting. There was a time in my life when I really did a lot of journaling when I was younger. And then for some reason, there was a time in my life when I didn't. And it's kind of sad, really, that I didn't persist more often. I should have done that. Oh, here's some stickers that I found that I'm going to put in this book. These are kind of fun. I got these at a entertainment expo back in, I'm going to say March. They're quite neat by local artists. Yeah, so it is interesting to go back through old journals, look at just how I've changed and how life has changed around me. I'm of an age where there really has been a lot of changes in the world. Um, I was telling my kids that I remember looking at the moon when there was somebody on it, and you know, uh, and I remember the first computer that I ever used, like way back in the '70s, where you had to essentially program it yourself to play a game. Oh, well, there's all these kind of things that I remember, and quite often when I'm journaling or writing down, it's just about the weather. Of course, I'll mention what kind of day it is. I'll talk about activities I've done, and sometimes I will, just write about people I meet that day or know. I'll do a little descriptive text about somebody who's a friend or something like that. And if I meet, I'll just say what we did, or family and things like that, just daily events. I also tend to record what's going on in the world in general, in the bigger scheme. So that goes in here. And it's really interesting going through the old journals that I had. And sometimes I wish there hadn't been that break, because there's kind of a gap. Maybe I was just too busy, or had other things I was doing, didn't have time. I thought it might have been a little silly for a person to be keeping a journal at times, but I really enjoy it, and I think it's good for my mental health, and it's really interesting to look back and sometimes have memories refreshed, or just be reminded of somebody who I used to know, or I know quite well, just things we do and things like that. For some reason, I can't get that sticker off. I'll do that. But anyway, starting this tonight, hopefully it's hopefully it's not as the first night is not as bad as this one. Literally, this starts with the invasion of Ukraine. That's kind of that'll be interesting to go back at and look at in 5 years or 10 years. Gosh, boy, hopefully everything's. Anyway, I hope you all have a nice night. I'm kind of bringing myself down talking about what anyway, but I'm going to go through this, going to put some stickers in it. I might find some cards, put that in there, write a few little prompts, things in here, and start the journal tomorrow. And I hope you all have a great night. Do you keep a journal? How many years? Some people have kept them for 50, 60 years or longer. Or are you just starting? Do you keep your journals? Do you throw some away? What's your favorite journal to write in? What's your favorite book? Let me know in the comments. It's always nice to see people's comments. I try to answer them. And I hope you have a great night, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.